Attention bubbleheads, sailors, and all military personnel. Enjoy truish, lighthearted, and funny adventures from life at sea, told by Mr. Do-Right himself. So pack your sea bags and rig your ship or die. It's time for another sea story with Mr. Do-Right. I think they're ready for it. Take it away, Mr. Do-Right. Visit DoRightProduction.com, follow the Facebook page, and subscribe to our channel, shipmates.
Welcome back to Sea Stories with Mr. Do-Right. I am your host, Mr. Do-Right, and today the show is what is our show again? The top 10 movies of 2017? That is correct. That's what we're doing today. I am so glad to be here with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time. I missed this, but I've been busy. Let me just jump into that right now. The main purpose of this video is twofold. One is to give you my top 10 list, because every year I do that. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking at movies. This year I watched about 77 or 78 movies, kind of less than last year. I did 88 last year, and the year before that I did over 100. So I'm sorry for slacking off, my bad. And earlier this year somebody made a suggestion to rate submarine movies. I tried to do that, but it's very hard to get all those movies, and that's something I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it. So sorry to let y'all down, shipmates. My bad. But the second part of why we making this video is because it's 2018 is going to be a great year for us. Really great, because we starting the Do-Right Network. We got a lot of people behind us putting in some hard work, and we have elevated to a whole nother level with our production and with our production value. So that's what we are doing today, and we basically testing out everything. So if you see any problems, if you see anything come up, let me know in chat. If I can see the chat, we can discuss it, go over it, fix it on the fly, because y'all part of the show just as much as we are part of the show, just like y'all part of the show of all the other shows that we produce here at Do-Right Production. So if we can bring up the chat so I can see everybody in the chat, we're going to get started. All right? Yeah, I'm not going to, I don't know. So I'm going to tell you something right now. And it is really, really, really hard. I'm used to being behind the scenes. And so when stuff goes on behind the scenes, my mind is there. You only can be in one or two places, either in front of the camera or behind the camera. And sometimes it's hard, no matter what it is, to step away from something that you're used to doing. So, I'm sitting up here and I'm like, oh my God, no, hold on. So check this out. We gotta go back to that post where we was. Yeah, not because that chat is not the same chat. So go back to the post where I was on there talking. Uh-oh. There we go. And I gotta stop being silent. Nobody wants to see somebody just sitting here in front of the camera doing nothing. Oh, we got some problems. We got some big problems here. Tell you what, let's go to the BRB screen, and we're gonna mute the microphone. We're gonna get everything situated, and then we're gonna come right back. I promise you, it's not gonna be long. I promise. And we back, and we got everything situated. No problems around here. We are doing this. I'm gonna try not to cuss today. We are moving and grooving here. So let's just get started with our first movie, and so y'all can see what we doing around here. So number 10, Ghost in the Shell. That's right, Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell. The tab up there. Go to the Ghost in the Shell. Oh, yeah. Ghost in the Shell. We working this out. Here, look. Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know if y'all know that. It wasn't built in a day. So we figuring this out. We're gonna be rolling. We're gonna be so good in here that is they're gonna close down NBC, CBS, and ABC and just hire us. So Ghost in the Shell, number 10. Scarlett Johansson. I think she did a pretty decent job in this movie. But why is it in my top 10? Well, I enjoyed the anime. I enjoyed the anime a lot. And when I heard about this adaptation of the anime, I had some hesitation just like everybody else. They created a lot of scenes from the anime, which was really cool. And it was cool to see that come to life. However, sometimes it felt like they had to create stuff or cram stuff together to make it work in the real world. But that didn't deter me. I really liked the movie. I really liked it a lot. What was one of the appealing factors of the movie? I like the fact that it wasn't completely the same. Y'all might be mad at me, but the original Ghost in the Shell was all right. It wasn't super great. It wasn't no Ninja Scroll, but it was entertaining. This was entertaining too. So and it beat out all the rest of the movies that I saw this year. So that's why it's number 10. You need to get off of me. That's all I'm saying. I thought long and hard about this, and there was some other movies that I had to juggle around, but I felt like Ghost in the Shell was a better fit for my number 10. And that's where it's at. Number 10, check it out. Ghost in the Shell. Next movie, number 9, It. It is. It. There you go. It. Directed by Andy, what's his name? Muccatelli? Mozzarella? Anyway, but I thought it was a tag team writing crew. Scroll back. It was right there. It was a tag team writing crew that wrote this story, in which I don't feel like they had to write a whole lot extra to it. I mean, they already had the source material, which is Stephen King's book, that big old 3 Bible version of a book. But the adaptation was pretty good to film. Okay, let me stop babbling. So let's get into this. It. Now, talked to a lot of people about this film, and a lot of people didn't like it or was upset with the film because it wasn't like the made-for-TV movie that came out 27 years ago. But I try to bring this up to them, and hopefully it makes sense to you too. 27 years ago, when we watched it scared the shit out of us. And we enjoyed that film because it scared the shit out of us, because it was a horror film. Now, as adults, if we go back and look at this same film, it doesn't scare the shit out of us because we grown. We know better. You know what I'm saying? So we don't look at the movie the same way. And it's the same thing with this movie. It's a modern version of the movie. It's the same characters, but subtle changes here and there. And to somebody younger, somebody our age back 27 years ago, it may scare the shit out of them. And to me, that's who the movie is for. That's who it was made for. It was made for them, not necessarily for us. Now, they put a lot of nostalgia, a lot of Easter eggs in the film for us, but I don't think this movie is lesser than the original movie. Or, well, there's so much stuff that's left out of the movie from the book that is crazy, so I can't really make a direct comparison to that. But if I'm going to compare these two movies together, to me, they're equal. Even the clown, both actors brought something different to the characters, so I can't knock either one of them, nor can I praise one over the other. To me, it felt equal. If I swear, if I was younger, I probably would have been scared shitless at this movie. So, is my number 9 movie. Now going to number 8, you may have not heard of this movie. It's called Bushwick. Bushwick. I'm loving this. It's Bushwick. You know why that's happening? Because you still have the lower thirds clicked. So every time you go push live, it shows both of them. Okay. So, Bushwick. See, I told y'all, it's hard. It's hard. People think it's easy. It's just you do one thing for so long and then step into something else, and you always still got one foot back over here on the other side. Now, Bushwick is an obscure movie. You probably haven't even heard of Bushwick. Came out early mid of 2017. Snuck up on me because it was one of those, video on demand type movies. It didn't have a theatrical release, but I seen it. It crossed my my screen. I said, what is this? Read a synopsis, and anytime we talk about a second Civil War, I'm interested in it because I'm interested to see how this movie is going to fare in 2017. Now, this movie, I wanted to say it was a found footage movie, but it's not a found footage movie. What the movie is a kind of like Birdman. If you remember Birdman, how the movie went all the way through without cuts and stuff. Well, this movie is just like that. It follows the main protagonist of the movie, which is a girl. She just comes back from somewhere. You don't know where. She has a boyfriend with her. You don't know who he is. Hell, you don't even know who the girl is. You just randomly following some chick out the subway, and next thing you know, all shit breaks loose. What is going on? You know as much as the character does, and every piece of information that she finds out, you find out at the same time. I thought that was a fun ride, but also the fact that it stemmed on a second Civil War. The reason why the movie is called Bushwick is because the other states that succeeded from the Union attacked Bushwick. Now, once it attacks Bushwick, that's where the whole film takes place at. In the streets, in the community, in the apartment complex. It was crazy. It's mayhem all over the streets. It's like looking at a war film, looking at something from Afghanistan that we see on the news all the time, but it's happening right here in the United States. That is a significant difference in this film. I don't want to tell you the film. I don't want to tell you the film, but trust me when I say it is worth a look. They don't really get into a lot of the behind the scenes of what started the war, but the fact that we know. Hold on, let me get my thoughts. Sometimes you just can't keep talking. But if oh my goodness, I haven't done this in a while. Y'all gotta excuse me, man. This is all new to me. Well, it's not new, but it's like riding a bicycle and I'm tripping over my feet on the pedals. But with this movie, I think it was interesting to have this Civil War situation. These states trying to come at them, and it's like, we've been together for so long. How in the world could we split apart enough to where we want to fight our own people? Especially in this day and time where everybody's talking about, America first and things like that. What could actually happen to separate us to want to fight each other? And that's the concept that I thought was really interesting in this film. So my number 8 is Bushwick. Whew. All right, moving on down the line. Number 7 movie of 2017 is The Wizard of Lies. That is correct. You see that poster? Wizard of Lies. And you see what happened? No. Scroll back. Right there. Yep. So, this is what happened. I was trying to cram in as many films as I possibly could before I made this film. And I haven't seen a lot of stuff. So, Christmas weekend or Christmas week, whatever you want to call it, I watched maybe 20 movies. And this one crossed my path I was supposed to watch. I think I just got through watching a Dog's Purpose, and I needed something uplifting because that movie just drug on and on and on like this video right now. But I needed something, and I came across this. And Robert De Niro. Look, when have you looked at a Robert De Niro film and you just said, you know what, screw Robert De Niro, that dude sucks? You've never said that, not once. So here I am. I'm looking for something uplifting. I don't know what this movie's about, but we finna watch it. And sure enough, I found this movie. And basically, it was the fall of Bernie Madoff. Now, I've heard of this dude, but I really didn't know who this dude was. He had the Ponzi scheme that robbed $65 billion from unsuspecting victims. And it was the largest fraud in U.S. history. I've heard about that on the news. I thought that was interesting, so I hurried up and clicked on it. Now, what tripped me out, the film wasn't about how he did or set up or anything else with the Ponzi scheme, which I was interested in because I don't know how the hell you set up a Ponzi scheme. Not saying that I'm trying to set up one. I'm just saying I thought it would be interesting to see how all this came about. Kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street. They showed it from the beginning, from the infancy, all the way up to when they was making all that money. This was started when he turned himself into the FBI. And I thought it was a trip, you know. He's sitting up there in his closet. He getting all dressed, putting his couplings on and his nice watch and stuff. The FBI knock on the door all nice and friendly, came in, gave him a glass of water. Hey, we're here to arrest you and everything. And, you know, he's like, okay, well, here I am. I'm ready to be arrested. And they're like, oh, sir, you're going to have to take off your belt, your shoelaces, all this stuff, which I didn't understand because when the last time they ever stopped somebody in the street and tell them they had to take off their belt and shoelaces? I just didn't understand that. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, this was an interesting film, and it was shown from the perspective of the family. Now, a lot of people thought that the sons and the mother all knew that and was a part of this Ponzi scheme. So when they got robbed, they were trying to get what is it called, a pound of flesh from the family. But in the movie, it shows that they didn't know anything about it. Now, was I there? No. Is the film accurate? I'm not going to say that. I don't know. But from what the film portrays, they didn't know anything about it, and they was duped just like the other people that was duped. Now, if these people can be duped, why is it hard to believe that this family could be duped also? And you have to watch the film. You watch the film, you may ask the same question too. But I thought it was really interesting. It kept me intrigued the whole time, and I watched it from beginning to end. Look, if there's a movie that can keep me in my seat and I don't get up to go use the bathroom, and if I have to go that bad, I pause it, that's a high-ranking movie in my eyes. So that is my number 8, Bushwick. All right, let's move on. What am I saying? I said number 8, Bushwick. That's my number 8, Bushwick, because we talked about number 8, Bushwick. We on number 7, and that was The Wizard of Lies. All right, look. Forgive me, America. Forgive me. Moving on to number 6. I promise I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I know what I'm doing. American Made, with that dude called Tom somebody. What's his name? Tom Hanks? No, not Tom Hanks. Tom Landry? No, not Tom Landry. That's right. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, you know, it's funny. I can't remember if he was running in this movie or not. I might have to watch it again to see if he was running in the movie. But before we go too far, let's see if we have any comments on Facebook. So the Facebook comment guy is going to pull up Facebook for me so I can see if we got any comments. And see if anybody's watching. We'll see real quick. But Tom Cruise is in this movie. And let me tell you, I really... Oh, look, we got Isaac Rowe with us. What's up, Isaac Rowe? I like the close-up. I like the close-up, too. A little more lighting. I'm dark. I'm just a dark dude, man. I'm African-American. Mic background noise. Yeah, I bet it is. We working on that. Trying to figure out the best mic placement for everything. As you know, the room... You know, I don't have a lapel mic or nothing, so I'm micing the whole room. So we're going to work on that issue, too. We seen that. It said... a hair of lag, but nothing horrible. Hey, thanks, Mike, for giving me that comment. Let me tell you, that comment is for Facebook. Them jokers suck. Sorry, Facebook gods, but they suck. They've sucked for a long time, and not a lot I can do about Facebook. But thanks for the comments. Thanks for chiming in and letting us know what's going on. So back to the movie, American Made, Tom Cruise. This movie felt a lot like Blow. I really enjoyed Blow, and this movie felt like it because it was fast paced. You know, because you think about it, the movie started off slow because he was just a regular commercial airline pilot, and not a lot was going on in his life. He goes to work, you know, he's bored sitting up there taking naps while he's flying and stuff. He goes home to his wife, yada yada yada. But he was a good pilot, and the CIA approaches him and asks if he wants to do some surveillance and stuff for him. So what the synopsis of the movie is: this is a story of Barry Seal, an American pilot who became a drug runner for the CIA in the 1980s in a clandestine operation that would be exposed as the Iran-Contra affair. And I don't know if you remember any of that, but the movie escalates very quickly. So once he's recruited by the CIA, the pacing of the film picks up, and it feels like this roller coaster ride of stuff going on. You know, the CIA buys him a plane, buys him a hangar. He starts shooting reconnaissance film and getting shot at and stuff, and he's loving it. He's going home to his wife, and of course, you get all that excitement. And matter of fact, if you remember the movie The Incredibles, you remember when he starts doing superhero stuff again. When he stopped, he was all drab and everything, going to his little cubicle, and he hated his job. But once he started being a superhero again, then everything changed, and the love making changed and everything else. This movie must have took that, because that was the exact same thing that happened in this movie. And I like The Incredibles, and now you can see kind of why I like this movie too. One thing that really stood out in this movie to me was the amount of money he was making. He was making duffel bags of money. You remember that Lil Wayne song about the duffel bag boy? This dude was the original duffel bag boy. He would come home with 2 duffel bags full of money, and he couldn't spend the money fast enough, so he had to try to hide it. So he started putting it in the closets. He started putting it in the basement, in the attic. Once the basement and the attic was filled up, he started putting it in the barn. The barn ran out of room. He started digging holes and everything and started hiding duffel bags in the ground. Pretty soon, he was digging holes and finding bags of money that he was trying to hide more money in. It was crazy. And that's the pace of that movie. And of course, it's the rise and fall. Think about that. Because it ended with the Iran-Contra situation. So if you know anything about that, you'll see about it. And I like that film. I liked it. I already like Tom Cruise. He's a good actor. I don't remember if he ran. I know I said that already, but I'm trying to think real hard. Did he run in that movie? Because he run in every other movie. This dude older than me. This dude, what, in his 50s, almost 60 years old, running in every film? When do you stop being an action star? We might have to ask, damn, what's his name from Taken? Hey, you know the dude name from Taken, put that in the comments, whatever. Let's move on, and let's get to the next one. And I ain't even got my thing set up. I've been getting on them in the background, and I'm slacking up here. I got wrong rope. All right. Oh, so I bet y'all can't guess what the next movie is. My number 5 movie of 2017 is Get Out. Of course, it was going to make the list. I love this movie. I love this movie a lot. Keenan Peele, he's the director of the film and the writer. And I don't think anybody suspected what was going to come out of this film or what it was going to be about. I thought it was going to be one of those corny little comedy type movies, kind of like the Wayans brothers, scary movies. They were funny, but I don't gravitate to films like that. So I didn't have a real big urgency to go see this film. And I only watch certain films in the movie theater. That movie has to be like can't miss for me to go ahead and drop them coins like that in a movie theater. Because if I go, I'm not going to, the $4 movie. I'm going to the $30 movie so I can be comfortable and make it an experience. So I don't just do that for any movie. I didn't do that with this movie. I kind of wish I did, because it was an experience. Get Out is about, I'll just read the synopsis. It's time for a young African American to meet with his white girlfriend's parents for a weekend in this secluded estate in the woods. But before long, the friendly and polite ambience would give way to a nightmare. Now, a lot of people call this a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. This is nowhere close to being a horror movie. Maybe to some people it's a horror movie. To me, Detroit was a horror movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look that up. But this was more of a thriller. They had all the aspects of a thriller. I guess if you have jump scares in a movie nowadays, it's a horror movie. But with this movie, it was subtle. It was a satire of society right now. And I really thought that it was appealing. But it also kind of threw me off a little bit because I don't know if I really wanted to see that. But it made it interesting. Now, what really made it interesting was, and this is the funny part, if you've seen the movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you haven't seen the movie and you didn't know nothing about this movie, you're going to just trip out. So basically, what the movie's about is about white people wanting to be black. And I was like, why would white people want to be black? If anything, black people want to have good credit. And like, why would you want to be black and have bad credit? I don't know. Maybe I'm just perpetuating the stereotype. But what they were doing, spoiler alert, let's just say that right now. What they were doing, and that's one of my biggest problems with the movie, they basically was taking the brain out of a white person and putting it in a black person's body. But the black person was able to kind of take control back or something, or they was putting in the sunken place. But if they in a sunken place and they could take control of the body back, but you took their brain out, how in the hell does that work? With the Abdullah Oblongata is still there, and that's what's taking over and stuff? I don't know. I guess that's what they call it, the reptile mind coming back. Anyway, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but this gives me a chance to address something. And what I want to address is, people think, oh man, you look way too far into these movies. You looking too far into these stuff, and you're always talking about them. But to me, with movies, any movie, no matter good or bad, it gives me an opportunity to think critically. And I think it's good practice, because that's something that you don't really see in society too much. When people always talk about, oh, these sheeple, or oh, you're not woke, or you need to get woke. You in this position because you don't really think critically about the world that you're in. Now, yeah, it's a movie. I know Avengers is not real and stuff, but let me pose this to you real quick. So, Captain America is in the Avengers. Does Captain America exist or not? Some people say, well, no, Captain America doesn't exist. It's just a comic book character. He doesn't exist. He may not exist physically in our world, but it doesn't mean that he does not exist. Because if enough people in this world know who Captain America is, can describe to you what Captain America looked like, what he stands for, what his beliefs are, and everything else, does that character not exist in the real world? So that just an example of critically thinking. We don't do enough of that. Because if we did critically think about some stuff, then maybe the person that's sitting in the White House may not be sitting in the White House. But y'all ain't coming here to hear all that stuff. Y'all trying to hear about these movies. So anyway, Get Out, great film. I ain't gonna tell you a whole bunch about it because you need to see this for yourself. I couldn't believe it. Hopefully it gets nominated for some kind of award this year. Maybe it won't, but we got some hope. That's a good film. And that's going to be in a lot of people's top 10. Moving on to our next movie, number 4. And if you don't know what the movie is, you probably know what it is. I didn't know. This one cold cocked me, and I didn't know what it was going to be about. I didn't know what it had in store for me or anything else. But this movie just took me by surprise, and it's called Wind River. As you know, Wind River has who does Wind River have in it? I can't remember people's names. I suck at names, big time. But it has Jeremy Renner. It has Jeremy Renner, and it has how do you say that? Kesley Asbill? I don't know who. I'm sorry. I suck with people's names. That's why I don't try to say people's names, because I always mess them up. But Jeremy Renner, I think Jeremy Renner is wasted in the Avengers. If you didn't know, Jeremy Renner plays Hawkeye in the Avenger movie. He doesn't get a lot of talking spots in it. It doesn't. The story doesn't really focus on him a whole lot, even though in Age of Ultron they did try to focus on him a little bit more. But it does not show the acting chops of this guy. This movie shows the acting chops of this guy. He played the hell out this role. So here's the synopsis for this movie. A veteran tracker with the Fish and Wildlife Service helps to investigate the murder of a young Native American woman and uses the case as a means of seeking redemption for an earlier act of irresponsibility which ended in tragedy. That says a lot. Now, if you just read that synopsis about the film, you may not want to watch it. But let me sit here and tell you, this is a film that you need to see. One, the fact that I learned this from the film, I didn't even know it, that I was about to say African American. That is not a true statement. Native American women are one of the groups or races that are not tracked. So there could be 1 million black women go missing. There could be 1 million white women that go missing. But Native Americans is not reported. It is not tracked. I don't even understand it. And that's one of the things that is brought out in this film. And that's what this film is about. It's about this murder and this FBI agent, which is not trained to do anything in this land. I mean, the environment is crazy. What is it? Is it in Wyoming or somewhere like that? I can't remember exactly, but it was a lot of snow, and she was not prepared to be in that much snow. If you think back to The Hateful Eight, you remember how much snow they had in that movie? You remember how that movie made you feel cold? Well, this movie does the same thing, and this FBI agent was not ready for that type of environment, and she needed. And I guess I mentioned that she was a female, did I? If I didn't, she needed his help, but she didn't need necessarily a man's help. She needed a tracker's help, if that makes any sense. So this film was really excellent. It was well acted, well written, and the fact that the story was simple. The story was so simple that it made the movie good. I can't sit up here and tell. Look, yes, I can. If you can remember, oh, dang it wasn't Night Stalker. It was about the dude that was chasing people with his camera. He was chasing accidents and chasing ambulances and stuff like that. I want to say Night Stalker, but that's not the name of it. Of course, when I'm on the spot, I can't remember. As soon as I turn off the camera, I guarantee I remember the name, the actors, and everything else in it. But it was a simple premise, and by it being simple and not complicated like Lupus, you start losing the characters in this crazy scheme of the movie that sometimes it's hard to follow. Like a Jason Bourne movie, it's hard to follow a Jason Bourne movie because the CIA, you got to know all these people's names. You got to have a list of names so you can keep up with who's who and what's what and where and all this other stuff. Kind of like Atomic Blonde is a perfect example. You sat there and screwed up that movie. That should have been a great movie. That is in my top 10 worst movies because it's so diluted with crap that you can't even keep up with it. But this one is simple. You can keep up with who's in it, what's what, where's where. I love it. That's my number 4 movie for 2017, Wind River. Let's move on because I know y'all getting mad at me. And it's already been 36 minutes. So, moving on to number 3. Let me move my thing up. Come on, thing. Move up. There you go. So my things move. Number 3 movie, 2017, Logan. Oh, man. You see how that came in? That was beautiful. Ow! Logan. Old Man Logan. I guess they didn't want to use the whole title, Old Man Logan, because I guess you can see from the picture. That he looks old. You can tell he's Logan, and you can tell he's a man. So I guess they just wanted to make it nice, short, and sweet. And a lot of people may not know who Old Man Logan is. But this is the continuing story. Well, not continuing anymore. Or did I just spoil it for you? But anyway, this is a continuing story of Wolverine from the X-Men. If you didn't know, but he old, which is funny because Wolverine is supposed to be like centuries old. So how do you get old? Wouldn't you be like old in like year 3000 if you centuries old? But that's neither here nor there. Great story. He finds out some stuff in his past. I really don't want to tell you a whole lot about it. I'm pretty sure you already seen it. But the reason why I enjoyed it so much, since we had Deadpool, now we're able to have a R-rated Wolverine and allow Wolverine to go out there and act a fool. And that's what we got. We got a fool acting Wolverine. And oh my gosh, it was amazing, sir. It was amazing. He was cutting people up and everything. But then again, all we really saw was limbs and some blood and stuff. Was it that many titties in that movie? I don't even remember. And the only person that really cussed was Charles Xavier, it felt like it was wasted. So why even have a rated R movie? Call it PG-13 and just keep the blood in it. I didn't really understand why they did that. But I like seeing Wolverine. He transitioned. It's like he spent all these years on the planet and he was just an ornery, mean-ass person. Towards the end of his life, he finally softened up and let somebody in. And you really saw that relationship between him and Charles Xavier, you know. You can see the father-son relationship in that movie. I thought it was really good. If you want a synopsis for it, in the near future, Weary Logan cares for an alien Professor X, where on the Mexican border. However, Logan's attempts to hide from the world and his legacy are upended when a young mutant arrives, pursued by dark forces. Now, that brings up a good point. I almost forgot this. One of the problems I had with the film, still a great film and I love it. One of the problems I had, they being chased by bad guys. Why would you think it was a good idea to go and befriend this family and go have dinner there and sleep in their house? I had big problems with that because that seemed really irresponsible. Saying that you X-Men, you've been doing this for years. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, why would you? What you thought was going to happen? Like, oh, the bad guys ain't going to find us. They're not going to track us, even though they've been tracking us all across the country anyway. But I don't want to tell you too much. I love this film. That's the only problem I had with it, and that's my number 3 movie for 2017, Logan. Let's keep it moving. Number 2, the Lego Batman movie. Now you might be saying to yourself, what the hell is he talking about? A little kids movie is a number 2 movie in 2017. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, and you don't need to talk to yourself because I'm right here, and you can put your damn comments in the comments in Facebook. You ain't got to do all that stuff. But look, let me tell you why I really enjoyed this film. There's been many Batmans. You got you got Affleck, you got Christian Bale, you even had the dude that played Birdman, Michael Keaton, he played Batman. But the problem with all those Batmans is that they push and shove the action down your throat. Yeah, we know Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. We know he got all these gadgets. He got the Batmobile and all this stuff. But the real problem is that they did not let you know who the person was behind the mask. And the one thing they did really well in this movie is to let you know who Batman was and what Batman's real weakness is. I also like to play on Batman and the Joker, where the Joker and Batman were in a relationship. And you gotta look at it like that, because without the Joker, there's no Batman. And without Batman, there's no Joker. Now, they tried to do this in The Dark Knight Returns, but I feel like they did it way better in Lego Batman. And it's funny because you can take your kid to go see this movie and they'll enjoy it, but then you will get a whole lot more out of it because most of the jokes was curtailed to adults, and I enjoyed that. Not to mention, as being an adult, growing up with Batman and all the stuff that they threw in, all the Easter eggs that they had, it made me appreciate the movie that much more, because you could tell who was behind making the movie. Somebody like me, somebody that enjoyed and grew up on Batman. So The synopsis for Batman. A cooler than ever Bruce Wayne must deal with the usual suspects as they plan to rule Gotham City, while discovering that he has accidentally adopted a teenage orphan who wishes to become his sidekick. Now, that reminds me of a scene. I really enjoyed it a lot. And it's a simple scene, but it just goes to show what I mean by this. A lot of the jokes was aimed towards the adults. So the little orphan's on the side of him and he's like, oh, Bruce Wayne, I would really love to be, for you to adopt me and everything. And Bruce Wayne is, he's caught up in all the fame and everything. The camera's flashing, so he's not really paying attention to the kid. So he's like, yeah, sure, kid, whatever, get adopted, whatever. And then the kid says, well, the kids at the orphanage call me Dick. And Bruce Wayne says, yeah, kids can be cruel like that. And it was like, I was like, wait a minute, what? I had to rewind it and see that again because I almost didn't catch it either, but that's what this movie had. It has so many moments that you have to watch it more than once just to get everything out of it. So that is my number 2 movie for 2017 is the Batman movie. Now, let me tell you something. This was hard because my number 1 and my number 2 was tied up. And I had to sit there and make a decision on which one was going to be number 1. But after some serious thought, I came up with a number 1 movie. Let me tell you what my number 1 movie is. My number 1 movie for 2017, drum roll please, is Spider-Man Homecoming. Man, Marvel Studios, look, if Marvel Studios didn't pull Sony's ass out of the dumps, I don't know who did. Look, this was the best Spider-Man adaptation ever. The first thing they did right, we didn't see an origin story. What? I'm so tired of seeing how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. It's ridiculous. We know how he became Spider-Man. He ain't buy no raid. He ain't cleaned up his room. And he done left all them cobwebs in the corner. And next thing you know, he get bit. I don't know how many people get bit by spiders. I'm sure it's a lot. But we already know how that happened. We already know who Aunt May is. We already know who Uncle Ben is. We don't need to see that yet again. We don't need to see it. And they didn't do it. Bravo on you. Second thing that they did, they made Spider-Man a kid. He's supposed to be in high school. How you got 30-year-old people playing Spider-Man? It didn't make any sense. Put him in school, put him with friends, put him in teenage situations. That made it refreshing. I enjoyed it. They did other little subtle stuff like putting Spider-Man in the suburbs. How you gonna swing from all these spider webs and stuff if you ain't got nothing to connect to? You know what I'm saying? I thought just those little things made it really awesome to see and experience. One of my favorite scenes from this movie, and this is why it was number 1 for me. So it's a scene, and spoilers, if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. You're behind the power curve if you haven't seen it. But one of my favorite scenes, he's trapped under this collapsed building. And he's got superpowers, so he's not dead. But he got thousands of pounds, or tons, if you will, of debris on top of him. And you forget, you've seen Spider-Man for so long, you forget that Spider-Man is a teenager. He is a child. He's a kid. And so he's under all this rubble, and he finds himself, he's trying to get up, but he can't move. And he starts crying. And he starts crying out for help. Because, of course, that's what a child would do. He's crying out for somebody to come help him. Then he looks at a puddle, and his mask came off. He was sitting in a puddle. Half the mask was sitting there in the puddle, and he could see the reflections of himself on the other half. And he reminds himself, there is no help coming. I'm Spider-Man. I am the help. So he wiped away the tears, or sucked the tears up. He basically sucked that shit up and helped himself and realized, I don't need a suit to make me Spider-Man. I am Spider-Man. This is who I am. This is the person that I have been meant to be. So I need to get myself out of this situation. He did it. And to me, that's the most triumphant scene in the whole movie. And when I saw that out, I had to I had a little something flew in my eye. I think it was somebody had some popcorn or something. I don't know. They put too much salt in it or something. But yeah, that was a great scene. So the synopsis for this movie is Peter Parker Peter Parker balances his life as an ordinary high school student in Queens with his superhero alter ego Spider-Man, and finds himself on the trail of a new menace prowling the skies of New York City. That reminds me, I'm glad I don't read the synopsis first. I'm glad I read it later, so it reminds me of something. Michael Keaton is the I don't want to say greatest, but so far the villains in superhero movies, especially lately, have been one-sided. You know, oh, I'm gonna take over the world, and all that bull. This villain was not like that, and it's hard to even call him a villain because they really humanized the Vulture in this film. He wasn't some bad guy that wanted to take over the city and get millions and billions of dollars holding people ransom. What he wanted was, first he wanted just to work, to support his family. Then the government came in and took that away from him. Now he was a little bitter, but he had the means to do something. Now, was it the right thing to do? Was it moral? Maybe not. But how many people out there that have done the wrong thing for the right reason? And that's what made him different as a villain. And I could appreciate that. And the other thing I liked about the Vulture is that he wasn't this big scale villain like Ultron or who's the other one? I want to say Doomsday, but that is not Marvel, right? I know the difference. I can't think of his name that's coming up in the next Marvel movie. But he wasn't this big time villain. He was a small time villain, just like Spider-Man was a small town hero. You know, that's why they call him the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This was the unfriendly neighborhood bad guy, and I like that small scope of it. It wasn't this grand thing, and it wasn't a whole bunch of people involved, and it felt personal, and Peter Parker was growing not only as a hero but as a person. And that's why that's my number one movie, because they really sat down and thought about this. And the fact that they gave him a mentor in Tony Stark, which should not mentor anybody. This dude is not a mentor, but it was a change for him also. Even though he wasn't a star of the film, to me he had an arc in this film. And really, with this universe, this expanded universe that Marvel has, the arc for the characters is huge, because most of the time you just have a character arc in one film. But when you span it over 20 films, you can't just have the character just arc in one film and that's it. They stay the same. No, you have to have a mini arc and a grand arc. I mean, it's almost like going to Rome and walking into one of these cathedrals or something with all these arcs, because the arcs is what hold up the whole building, and these character arcs is what holds up the whole story. So anyway, I rambled on. It's almost been an hour. I'm not going to stay here too long, but I am going to close out with this, and that was my number one movie for 2017. This is what I want to put out there. If you're watching, that's great. I appreciate you big time, but I'm not on here for y'all to watch me. My time has passed being in front of the camera. The reason I was in front of the camera was because I had to learn what it is to be in front of the camera and what to expect from other people that's in front of the camera. My role is to be behind the camera and try to find content that y'all like. So far, I found a lot of great people with a lot of great shows. We lost 2 shows, and I just want to put out there, and I'm going to look right in the lens with this. I have nothing against those people. I love them to death. Sometimes things just don't work out the way we want them to work out. But I have no animosity towards them. I don't hate them. Hell, if they came back and wanted to do something else, I would entertain the thought of it, because I really enjoyed that. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't know what I know now. So I want to say that. But 2018, we taking no shorts. We got a great lineup coming up this year, starting January 17th with the premiere of No Filter. Hashtag No Filter. I'm sorry. hashtag no filter. I believe it's going to be a great show. It's got some great hosts. We got K Paul. You may not know who K Paul is, but if you go over to the hashtag no filter page on Facebook, you can learn all about them. I think that's going to be a really good show. We got TT with the Uncut Truth coming back on Mondays. Oh my goodness. TT has been doing it, and she's been doing it big, and this season is going to be no different. She's going to have great guests. She's going to have great videos to look at, and hopefully we have some great sponsors also. So that's Monday nights. Tuesday nights is going to be no... Who is it, Tuesday night? No, I'm sorry. Wednesday night is going to be no filter. Tuesday nights is going to be a new show. Tree and Friends. Great friend of the show. She's been on several times, and we're going to start up a show with her. It's going to be great because she's an outstanding singer, and she's going to bring in a lot of other outstanding singers to entertain us, to give them some exposure and everything else. I know I'm dark. Y'all just got to do it. I feel bottom of my heart this is going to be a hit, just like every other show that we do. Wednesday night, like I said, is going to be hashtag no filter. Thursday night, we have the return of Men Talk Live. People have been telling me they missed it and they can't wait for it to come back. I can't wait for it to come back. I enjoy every episode. If you ever watch an episode and you hear somebody laughing in the background, that's me. So just know you hear some laughing. That's not a laugh track. That's me up there cracking up, trying not to laugh. So Men Talk Live will be coming back on Thursday. And finally, on Friday nights, we got the White Brother coming back to us on Real Music TV. We'll have some local artists coming on, performing for us, interviewing. And this guy really finds a lot of great artists that don't get a lot of exposure. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I'm proud to be able to do something like that for the Austin area, to get these people out there, get them in front of a camera. You know, one of the biggest things is helping a young artist get some interview experience. Because once you get that first interview under your belt, it's all uphill from there. Well, I say uphill. I guess it's uphill when you first start, right? But once you get that first interview, then that fear subsides. I think that's better. I like that better. Keep that and don't edit that out. That fear subsides, and you don't have to, it gets easier over time. And you can keep on coming on the show. We'll keep interviewing you. We'll talk about some other aspects of it, and we'll just keep building them calluses to where when you get on the Tonight Show or you get on MTV, if MTV still do stuff like that, I don't even know. Come and get your training with us. Why not? Where else you gonna go? Oh, you can go to that other. Oh yeah, that's right. There ain't nobody else doing that. What else? Oh, and currently, we still have going on. They coming back tomorrow night. QPR, and if you didn't know, QPR is Quarter Past Real. We got Suge and Drew. Drew is from Men Talk Live, and if you hated Drew on Men Talk Live, you probably hate his ass on QPR. But to me, this show brings a little bit more balance. On Men Talk Live is all men, and women don't really have anybody on their side. But QPR, you got Suge over here, you got Drew over here. You pick a side, and let's see who's right or wrong, or wins the argument or whatever. I mean, I don't think it's a winner or a loser. Everybody has a side and everybody has an opinion. But pick a side. That's what most people do. And with that said, that's going to pretty much be it. I appreciate y'all tuning in, checking us out, putting up with me. It's been a while, man. I'm rusty. I am rusty as hell. But you know what? I've always enjoyed this. I enjoy getting in front of the camera. But you're not going to see me much here and there, so I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'll be on one of the shows or something, filling in for somebody, because somebody didn't show up or they ain't pay their bill. Because if you ain't pay your bill, you ain't going to get in front of the camera. I'm telling you that right now. We taking those shorts 2018. It's going down. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I am Mr. Do Right. This is the Do Right Network. Please come back, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And look, do me a favor. If you like any one of the shows on the Do Right Network, tell one of your friends to check it out with you. You can get in the comments. We'll acknowledge you up there. We'll give you a shout out, whatever you want, except for money. because we love you a long time. That sounded bad, didn't it? But tell one of your friends, and if they like it, then let them tell one of their friends, and let's grow this together. You are coming in at the grassroots of something great. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get out there and do that. And I'm gonna say it again: like, share, subscribe, and give us your comments. You got a great idea for a show? Let me know. Contact me. You can contact me on Facebook. You can contact me at Mr. Do Right Production at gmail.com, and let me know. Pitch it to me. But it's gotta be badass. You just can't come to me with no weak stuff. Oh, I want to do a show where we talk about the sky. I'm like, okay, what about the sky? You know, we gonna talk about why the sky blue. We gonna talk about what happens if certain gases get heated up and stuff in the atmosphere. What are we talking about? Don't just come to me with some weak stuff. Come to me with something that you would really want to see on anywhere, TV, on the internet, or whatever. Anything else? Am I missing anything? Oh, I would like to thank my crew today. We trying to work this out, man. We trying to walk it out. We trying to do it. I got my boy Stoney back there on the ones and twos, switching the scenes for me. Switch the scene for me. Switch camera. Camera 1, go. Camera 2, go. You see what I'm talking about? Stoney back there. Yeah, I love it. And we also got the director back there, my partner, Mr. Evans. One day you're gonna see him in front of this camera. I've been trying to drag him out here, but he's gonna get out here one day. He got a show he got in mind, and we're gonna put that out there, and we're gonna put African movies on the map. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna do. And he's gonna have his own show talking about him, and y'all gonna have premieres and everything else. So just be on the lookout for that. Oh, look at that, we got some clapping. Yeah, the director said give him some claps. So that's my time. That's it. Let's wrap this up. My name is Mr. Do Right. This is Sea Stories with Mr. Do Right. Kind of, not sort of, but since that's my show, that's what we're going to call it. I love y'all a long time. Until next time, peace.